Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene. Today's date, February 20, 2026, time in Texas, about 7 a.m. And I'd like to say thanks for like, subscribe, and share. Some of the sources I'll use today: Lay's Real Talk, Space Weather, and Space Weather on YouTube, formerly Suspicious Observers, New York Prepper, TOUSITV, Dabu 77, AP. Some of the things we'll cover: Blizzard, U.S. banks, President Trump, SITREP, U.S. military ready, February 21, and China, Xi hides. So let's get started. So we have from Space Weather and also YouTube Space Weather, formerly Suspicious Observers. Both NASA and NOAA put out a report for a CME on February 19, that would have been yesterday, giving us a G1, G2 geomagnetic storm. Today, February 20, the sun is quiet. We can expect over the weekend increased solar wind, which can also give us a G storm. Now, very interesting, a dig has taken place underneath Antarctica, and they have reached a depth that is equal to 23 million years ago. More info to come as they process the algae and other things they are finding. And we have a white paper out published by Astrophysical Journal detailing how rapid climate change can occur during a pole shift. And many believe, as I do, that we are in the midst of a pole shift. Now, weather predictions coming up for the U.S. blizzard over the weekend, Sunday through Monday. We know a blizzard is heavy snow together with intense winds. Some can reach hurricane force, a nor'easter that is to deliver 18 to 24 inches of snow from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia, New York City, Boston plus. So that's going on with the weather. We have a new report out today from AP this morning in the UK. Prince Andrew has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct while in office as a fallout from more information coming from the Epstein files. U.S. banks. Over the weekend, the Fed pumped in an additional $18.5 billion this week, February 15 to 20, to shore up U.S. banks. It's the fourth pump of cash into U.S. banks by the Fed since about January. And this is to maintain liquidity in U.S. banks. Meanwhile, in Russia, Russia's economy is being hit hard by President Trump and the U.S., and they're hitting Venezuela, slowing oil, and also now Iran, also oil sanctions against Russia. Likewise, the economy in China has been hit hard by actions of a plan by President Trump and the U.S. to stop oil from Venezuela and from Iran to China. So that's, and China also has sanctions. So that's going on. We have this from Iran. February 16, a Russian doomsday plane flew down to Tehran, that's the capital of Iran, It's believed some type of maybe a practice for continuity of government in the event that a Russian doomsday needs to fly into Iran to rescue the Iranian government. Well, I got this to say. They can rescue the Ayatollah, but he ain't coming back. And we've got this February 18. The U.S. moved to the Middle East the largest number of AWACS planes in history. AWACS planes do surveillance and other things. And we have this overnight. Iran has put a NOTAM, a no-fly area, over southern Iran, central Iran, including the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran has positioned on launchers missiles that can travel 11,000 kilometers, meaning they could reach Washington, D.C. and New York City. And we have this. Iran, last night, the Iran government put communiques out to all hospitals and medical personnel to get ready for a potential mass casualty event. And from U.S. Intel Flash, U.S. Intel are seeing suspicious moves of Iranian military launchers to South Iran, which would be along this coast where the Strait of Hormuz is located, right across the Persian Gulf, where there are tens of thousands and hundreds of U.S. planes located in Oman, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan. So that's going on. And we also have this, that Israel also, late last night, yesterday, warned its people of a multi-front scenario. So apparently Israel is going to hit, we believe, Iran when the U.S. kicks off their hit. And so it's speculated that maybe Israel is also going to hit Lebanon. So that's going on. From U.S. Intel, we have that President Trump yesterday was receiving a sit rep regarding Iran. And that, happened yesterday with his national security team. The U.S. military is in the Middle East, and some put forward that all of the pieces of the U.S. military and troops will be in place in the Middle East mid-March. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, has a meeting scheduled in Israel February 28. But we have additional information that the U.S. military has advised President Trump during the sitrep yesterday that the U.S. military can be in place to hit Iran February 21. That will be Friday. And militaries, typically the U.S. military likes to do hits on Friday after the stock market closes. We have this from TOUSITV that the Iranian people inside Iran are now hitting IRGC bases, warehouses, and other military locations. It's believed that inside Iran, there could be additional forces helping the people of Iran such as the CIA and Mossad. And we have that the IRGC has been hit militarily, with the people and other forces hitting, blowing up warehouses with weapons. It's also noted that the people are in the streets of Iran shouting death to the IRGC. We have this. The Iranian government now is not trying to say they're having electrical fires or gas leaks, but the Iranian government is now acknowledging that the fires and explosions taking place there are the result of sabotage. And we have information about fires and explosions taking place in Shiraz and Paran, and that, the people are also shouting death to Khamenei, the Ayatollah. And we have this, that, the government of Israel is also making moves to shore up and warn its people of a coming event, most likely to take place, that will include hits being made inside Israel. And we have this. The Israel security is to have they had a meeting scheduled February 19, and that's been moved to Sunday. We have this. The U.S. has also sent a nuclear sub, the USS Georgia, a silent killer, to the Middle East. And that we're hearing reports of growlers working, that's a type of plane, off of the carrier strike group Lincoln. We also have information that the carrier strike group, I believe it's the Bush, has made its way around the Strait of Gibraltar and is moving into the Mediterranean. And we have this. The U.S. yesterday sent an additional 4 plus F-15s, plus additional tankers to the Middle East. In the last 24 hours, the U.S. has moved 48 F-16s to the Middle East, plus 12 F-22s, plus 18 F-35s, plus 6 E-3 surveillance planes, and close to 40 refuelers. This has been the largest U.S. military move since, I believe, the 1991 Desert Storm. And we have this from W77, that the U.S. military has a plan for the Middle East, and that this information is coming from the former head of the IDF, Israel Defense Force, Amos Youngkin, that in the U.S., it's probably not a good idea to fly this weekend. And we have this from New York Prepper. So it was the Gerald Ford, not the Bush, that passed through the Strait of Gibraltar and is now in the Mediterranean. And we have this. Sources from the U.S. military are saying that the U.S. military will be ready to hit Iran as early as this weekend. So we had another source saying February 21, which will be Friday. And in China, we have Xi hiding. And it's being noted that by Chinese experts that Xi has not traveled outside of Beijing for 3 months since November. And that he recently, right now in China, they have the Chinese New Year going on. And that Xi typically would be reviewing face-to-face some parts of the Chinese military as a part of the New Year celebration. However, Xi passed on meeting the Chinese military face-to-face and simply reviewed the troops virtually by computer. So that's going on. And we have this. It's believed that Xi does not want to face the Chinese military since for the past 2 months, he has removed the top 8 generals. It's believed they have been neutralized, and that he does not want to meet up either with the Communist Party, the CCP, of which he is technically the leader, and that neither the CCP nor the Chinese military have made a public statement of support for Xi since he, a few weeks ago, removed the top 2 generals and went and didn't get agreement from the CCP. Now, the CCP is giving a signal to Xi and to the world that the CCP also does not support Xi, and this is the way they are communicating that. So with the Chinese New Year celebration, the CCP puts on an entertainment show, and this year their headliner is a woman named Tang Can. She's a folk singer. And some years ago, she had been associated with a group in the Chinese military that was putting together a plan to oppose Xi. So by the CCP putting this woman out as the headliner of their New Year celebration, they send a message that the CCP, as well as the Chinese military, is now coordinating in moves against Xi. So, we may be seeing a coup very soon. And we have this. We have, and it appears Xi is afraid to leave Beijing. And he realizes he is being opposed by both the CCP and the Chinese military. And we can report this Chinese New Year, they've had 2 massive explosions and fires inside China. One was in Hubei, 12 people were killed, and one was in Jiangsu, where 8 people were killed. This is being put forth as being fireworks explosions, but others may speculate that we're seeing opposition inside China against Xi, just as we're seeing in Iran opposition to the Ayatollah. So it's good to be in prayer for America, President Trump, the U.S. military, and world peace. And also for Nancy Guthrie and her family, who continue to hope for the best. I love you, and I'll see you soon.